Ebusia Masia Babio. Now where you Opino TVGH Yasiaba. Na ye baya enye bibia eye we but anoso so edin ewo video bi me ni aposo ewo media no so a owo se metumi ba chama adwene na metumi chama adwene without in video no me pese me madofo ye kohwe video na ye ba e fa cable sem ya ho ba interview bi e call so wo de enko hwa ma ye ba ye ba chama adwene. This is Opino TVGH. Subscribe and like it and share and comment us. Video
with the procurement department.
Fantastic question. Again, if the committee had gotten in touch with the company secretary, because as managing director, I can't just get up and merge directorates. No, you need the consent and the concurrence of the board.
So the board, the board approved that decision?
Definitely.
What was the reasoning behind it?
I will not honor that again by giving that here, because if due diligence was done, the company secretary was spoken to, the document would have been provided for them. There are too many things that it was left ajar. One of them, there was no, value for money audit. If you had spoken to the company secretary, you would have gotten all of that. But there are things that the director legal could have also provided, because there are things that are on file.
Is it best practice to merge estate department with the procurement department?
You see,
headed by somebody who, according to the report, didn't have any experience in procurement.
So my conversation to you is this: when you're a manager, when you're a director, it has nothing to do with qualification. It's a management role. If this your question applies, then why are ministers, apart from the Attorney General, who the Constitution is expressed, should be a lawyer? Why are individuals from different backgrounds appointed into certain ministerial roles? It's a management role. So I'm telling you, if the committee had taken its time, spoken to the corporate, the company secretary, there would have been board minutes and that led to that decision. And all of this wouldn't have happened.
You are aware of the reasoning?
I am aware, but why do I give it out here? Due diligence. Look, when you are put in a role, in a fiduciary role, there are certain responsibilities that come with it. You're not supposed to do anything that would look like you are giving the dog a bad name and hang it. If I tell you sitting here, I feel it was a witch hunt, would I be wrong in saying that? I would not feel wrong in saying that. But the truth of the matter is, I feel the committee could have done better. I feel this final interim report leaves a lot to be desired. I look forward to the day I am called to speak. I look forward to a day a new report is published, and I am committed to assisting the minister to recover his containers. And I have said that, and I'll continue to say it, because these are stuff or these are goods that belong to the state. We all need to work together to make sure that what the minister's motive is achieved. That is what we need to do.
Did you overprocure?
What is overprocurement in a utility?
So let me tell you what I mean by that.
So again, you are dragging me into the report. If you do your research well, wait.
You're saying you did not. So
I didn't say I did not. I said, you said what is
so
overprocurement?
Did you overprocure?
I said I'm not answering any question related to this. I have said something to you, but it looks like when we go forward 3 steps, you are trying to be smart to bring me back to the document. My brother, if you want us to have a conversation about the processes and structures of how containers are received within the Republic and how containers are given to their owners and how this has no relation to the ECG staff whatsoever, let's talk about that, so that, because it's all about exonerating and allowing us to zero in on where to find these containers. But if you want us to speak to a report where I have told you, there are people, there are smart people that were put on this committee. Don't make me emotional about what this committee has done.
No, but
because I have told you the same thing. It is not even fair to even you.
Okay, but in the ECG, you have a budget and entity tender committee. Correct?
We do.
Was there any point that they approved a particular value for procurement that you had to go back to them
that ECG
and deviate from that?
Again, ECG has a procurement manual, doesn't it? The committee report, same committee report, says what? They don't have a proper procurement manual, but that said procurement manual was approved by the board. So again, if you didn't find that report showing you that the procurement manual was approved, and you can write that they didn't have a manual, you would then come up with such what? Such what? So for me, let's be fair. Be fair to me. Let me be fair to the good people of Ghana that I came to serve and the great staff of ECG that I came to serve. I am not here to badmouth anybody. All I am saying is that fairness must prevail. If I was called and I didn't speak or I didn't share what the motives were, because at the board level, policy is discussed, the direction of the company is discussed, corporate governance is discussed. So let's zero down on that and let's solve that problem.
So everything that we are talking about in this report and the questions and concerns raised about the decisions taken were approved by the board at the time.
Have I said that? You see, stop putting words in my mouth. Stop dragging me. No, I didn't say that on this show. No. Don't put words in my mouth. I said I am not responding to this. I said the procurement manual of every year is approved by the board.
I said to you, I asked specific questions, for instance, about the decision to merge the procurement unit, and the estate unit. You said that was approved by the board.
I said if they had gone for the board minutes, they would have seen what constituted and led to that decision.
So it was approved by the board.
You are saying it because I said I am not going to address anything. Yes, I'm being mischievous. I'm just telling you the truth.
But then it's not serving your own good.
Why is it not serving my own good?
Really?
I didn't come here to serve my own good. Because the moment
you're concerned about your name and reputation.
No. You don't get my point.
Here saying
you're not getting my point.
To.
And I have said this, and I'll continue to say it. Committee was not fair to me. I am not going to address the committees. I'm not going to be disrespectful to the committee because they were disrespectful to me. We live in a country where the laws of the land work. We live in a country where we are trying to make things better. If you are even if there are people that accused me, there are days that I have to be able to have the opportunity to face my accuser. So at the end of the day, if this is the situation in the report, whatever inconsistencies I have seen, if the committee didn't deem it necessary to speak to me, but will write my name in there, so be it. It's the committee's prerogative.
Did you escalate the non-response of GRA to your letter to the board?
The board at that point in time knew.
They knew about it?
They knew. I had communicated it to the board that we had containers that were stuck at the port, and those containers some had been auctioned by the GRA, and I had written to the GRA. Yes.
And what was the board's position?
Yeah, you have written to them. We are waiting for a response from them.
And that response never came?
I said to the best of my knowledge, and the last time I worked at ECG, I didn't get a response.
And the board did not raise concerns about that as well?
So you see, again, let's not cheapen management or board duties.
But you know, this matter is not cheap.
No, you are not getting my point. You don't. I wonder how. I don't know how to explain. Let me explain something to you. Let's put you. Wait.
This.
Have you?
I want to.
If you let me land. If you let me land my point.
You know what?
Oh, Alfred, let me land this point. Listen, on a day-to-day basis in the seat as an ECG MD, you need to enter the place one day to see how when you walk into the office at about 7 a.m., by the next time you realize you have not even eaten, you've not drunk water, but you are leaving the place at 9 p.m. You enter, the sun is up. By the time you are leaving, it's late. You would understand that, yes, the number of things that go through. Yes, this same letter was forwarded to the legal directorate. This letter that we wrote was forwarded to the legal directorate. So technically, I don't work in isolation. Okay. So if that's why I keep saying, if there was a response, by now, the director legal should have it.
So with everything that has been raised as a matter of concern in terms of whereabouts of containers and how they get out of the ports and ECG not being able to even account for them, you believe that if you were contacted, maybe clarity would have been brought to bear, and so there was nothing wrong done?
I am not saying that. I said there are containers don't get missing. Containers can get misplaced.
Okay.
Let's all assist the minister and the forensic audit for us to identify the location of these containers.
Okay, the containers have been
if we do it and we are short of, and whatever we need to do holistically to identify where these containers are, who took the containers out, because no matter what, a container number would be linked to someone. There's always that trail when it comes to containers. Whoever signs off on the way bills are always there. That is documentation that is easily verifiable. That is again documentation that is easily verifiable even with the shipping lines. So for me, I think the committee failed the minister, and let's look at it in this broad view. And so if that was done right for the minister, I believe the minister would have a better understanding of what is going on. But for the committee to come out with a report, name someone in it, not give the person the opportunity, I'm not going to address it in the public domain. No.
So you say the containers were misplaced.
In my candid opinion.
Good. These misplaced containers did not get misplaced over just a 3-week period or a 2-month period that this administration has been in office.
How would you know?
Based on the details of what, in terms of the auction period.
You see?
And I'm coming. In terms of the auction period of these containers, you would know the period that these containers were sold or auctioned by the GRA, because you wrote this letter in 2023.
So if you are going to be mischievous, the minister in January said 2005.
So I don't think that if you're talking about fairness, there's no reason to say we're being mischievous.
So let's be fair. No, I'm talking about fairness here.
Yes.
I'm saying
why do you
there are inconsistencies in the situation. And the inconsistencies do not bring what? Clarity. Let's all assist. And I will continue to say it. Let's all assist to bring clarity and closure to this matter.
The misplaced containers, that's wrongdoing. It's not
by who?
Proper procedure.
Who misplaced it?
I think you should be answering those questions.
It was with the custody of the what? Ghana Customs and in the custody of Ghana ports.
But
so if they are
over time you import containers with content and they are misplaced, and as an MD you don't get concerned about it, how do you expect me to also believe that
from what you are saying,
you are not part of the entire syndicate?
If that's the case, so be it. It will come out in the forensic audit. If that's the case, so be it. Let the records show that Dubik was part of the syndicate. If that is what we are looking for, let's look for it. What would be Dubik's aim to be part of a syndicate to take containers out? Do I live in a container house?
Well,
are my homes, if you have come to my home and it was built with containers, yes, you can say something like that and people will believe you. But the conversation at hand is this. And you see, we keep digressing on the issue. Containers have arrived for ECG. ECG didn't have money to clear the containers. The containers went into an unclaimed area. Yes, the containers were there. Some of them were subjects of an investigation. They were there for a long period of time. As they were there for a long period of time, some of the containers cannot be found. How many terminals are there in the, what do you call it, in GPHA? So have we gone to every single terminal to determine whether there's MPS? Don't forget. So let's go through all of this. So if you go to GPHA alone, you are not also being fair to GPHA. Let me finish. So there are how many terminals? There's Atlas, there's other. Let's go through all of them. Don't say I went here and I counted and that was it. Let's go through all of them, or let's go into the system.
So because you classify this as misplacement and not missing, would you say containers found in fabrication companies and warehouses of Chinese were misplaced?
How were they? How would you call those containers missing? How did they leave?
No, I'm saying I'm using your own terminology.
No, yeah, so I'm responding to you. How did the container leave the port? No. If you answer that question, you would know, because we all live in Ghana. How did that container leave the port? The answer to all what we are looking for is how did those containers leave the port of the Republic of Ghana? If we get to the bottom of that, we will find that syndicate.
And so, the big mama, you are not aware of how these containers left the port as former MD? And you never ask questions?
Do I work at customs?
You never ask
questions?
Do I
work at GPHA?
No. So you never ask questions until now?
Ask your questions pertaining to the issue.
Get out of the port. You said you are not in charge, or you are not the head of logistics and procurement at ECG. So you wouldn't know how these containers got out.
Do you know how the bureaucracy system works? Let me explain how the bureaucracy. So your director would write to you. So if your director writes to you,
yes,
your director writes to you, then you are on notice, and then now you can find a solution to the matter.
Are you saying the director never wrote to you about this? What's happening at the port of the ECG container?
If you've listened to the trajectory of the matter, he said, "Sir, he wrote about 2 memos to me. At even a management meeting, it was discussed. We said allocation of funds to the matter is the issue." Okay? So if allocations to the funds is the issue, there were other creative ways that we were discussing with the Ministry of Finance as to how we can deal with this issue. And then I left. That's the last that I know.
You talk about funds. 5 million was made available to you.
5 million was
for clearing containers. What happened to that?
Who said it was made available to me? Who said 5 million was made available to me?
That is part of the committee's report. So I'm saying that if funds were available to you,
Alfred, if you are going to work with me, I have told you, do not make reference.
If funds were available to you, because you say you didn't have funds.
You are trying hard to solicit an answer for me.
You mentioned funds, that there was lack of funds.
I've told you, I gave him an answer. Through that, it didn't stop there. I've even done my possible best to even give you more than I wanted to give you, by even telling you that it didn't stop there. There were conversations with the Ministry of Finance. I've told you that. I've even told you that. Was it captured in the report? It wasn't. So for me, don't drag me into that report.
Who approves the request for materials on behalf of ECG?
Who approves the request? It goes through a process and then it finally comes to my table.
So you are the final?
Yes, for the requisite materials that are needed, yes.
So you know specifics as to how much.
You want to determine a trend analysis. You don't do that short space of time. Will you call that a witch hunt? Let's go back to it. No, yes, wait. Let's go back. Let's go back to his statement that he made. He said, it is a notorious fact. When I first wrote that letter, it did come out to us that containers that belong to ECG, through some people in there, connived for the containers to have been sold. How did we find out? We found out because outsiders who had those containers were trying to sell it back to ECG. Under my tenure, I never bought any of those containers back. I spoke to GRA. I said those containers need to be retrieved and brought back to ECG. And it's on record within the office that I said I was not buying those containers back. I know he knows. I also know that containers were taken out of the port. But if they say connivance, that should even tell you that if there's a syndicate, why don't we bust the syndicate? Let's stop this segmenting this issue. So I came here to address.
He said,
again, you are doing this your thing again.
No, relax.
I came here. I won't relax. You relax.
You said
I came here to solve. Yeah, but I'm going further to add that I came here to solve a problem, and the problem solving is that this problem, all of us need to assist the minister, because if you keep dropping names or you keep pointing fingers left, right, center, you might miss the people that need to answer. But again, I pointed out straightforward to you that if the containers were had been able to come out of the port and were with ECG, this conversation would be totally different. Because how did you receive such containers and how did they get lost from your yard? But in this case,
that's the exact problem that your former board chair is talking about.
Alfred, are you understanding this problem? You're not. No. I won't listen to him because you're not understanding the problem.
You want to listen to Avenue Market?
No, I don't. Because the problem he's talking about is not about containers in the yard of ECG. You are mixing the issues.
Listen.
Where was the containers? No.
Wait.
You are using this to waste valuable time. Where were the containers? No, pause. Before I listen,
I had the privilege of chairing the board in July. Because I'm a businessman, the first question I ask myself is that how can ECG award a contract? And when the contract is awarded, all the person does is deliver at the port, present bill of lading, and request for payment. I said, with the greatest respect, I don't want to use a...
It says there's a history to it or there's a convention. ECG had an exemption. ECG had an exemption to clear goods. Did you know that?
But you
so
are
wait.
You
see,
come your board chair didn't know this?
Oh, how you see? Be fair to the man. How long was he board chair for?
But he asked a question of the procurement manager. Procurement manager comes.
Well, so you see,
this
again, you are being mischievous again. You are asking me to answer something concerning someone who had a conversation with another person that I was not present.
This was on the floor of Parliament.
But
let me be very clear.
my brother, if you go back to the floor of Parliament,
so I don't think that because you are asking for fairness, it would be unfair on your part to also be continuously describing questions that I'm asking of you, so you answer and bring clarity as you want to, as being mischievous. I don't think that's also going to be fair on my part, and I would have you restrain from describing it as that, because we're having a conversation. Now, Alex Anap, you're marking the former board chair of ECG, made this statement on the floor of Parliament.
Yes, he did.
That he had a conversation, he had questions of the procurement manager in ECG as to why you make full payment for goods that you haven't even received.
There you go again, saying you make full payment. Have you seen a copy of those purchase orders? Because there's a restriction. That is what I'm saying. You see, again, the committee I'll go back to this committee, because
this is not the committee, this is the board chair.
Listen, don't go back to the board chair.
Why?
Because you going back to the board chair, you are summarizing a bigger conversation. And you can't summarize a bigger...
I am making specific reference.
No, you are not making... Listen, if
said.
I give you a CIF I give you a CIF contract. I said, when you come, you give me the bill of lading. When you give me the bill of lading, I don't pay you until the goods have landed in Accra. Because when the goods leave the port of origin, the bill of lading is what? Generated. So as soon as the bill of lading is generated from the port of origin, what then happens? Is you give it, you surrender it. When ECG is notified that the goods have landed in Accra, that is when what?
Payment is made.
And even the payment is not in full. It's what?
So
no, you see, you don't know this. You are asking me.
You are answering the question. So if it's not made in full, then how much is
paid? It's in installments. So after the first installment is made, I don't want to discuss the document here, because I don't feel that is the reason why I'm here. If you want us to go into details with this, I would grab that document, come and sit here and walk you through it. There's a lot of talk going on.
You should have explained this to the board chair, because I am playing to you what the board chair said. Unless you are saying that the board chair is ignorant of the processes of the company that he was board chair of.
Those are your words, not mine.
No,
I just pointed out something to you. I just pointed out something to you, that he had a conversation with someone.
No, not someone. That's the procurement manager of ECG.
You're not going to make me make my point, because
I think that
don't let me feel like you have. Don't let me feel.
Let's be clear.
Let's be clear.
So he said he had a conversation with the procurement manager.
If he had a conversation with the procurement manager, were you there?
I'm taking his word for it.
Yeah, I will also take his word for it.
So
now, if he has landed his point that this is what the procurement manager said, I just told you that ECG has a purchase order, and the purchase order, we need to speak to the purchase order. You are asking me to speak to a 5 or 6 page document that is not before me. I just pointed out to you that said document is a CIF document, and in that CIF document, what do we do in the CIF document? What do you do with the purchase order? Why should I tell you? Because I don't have the document here. If I had the document here and you were cross-examining me or you were questioning me on the document, would that not be fair? I came here to point out something to you. You are taking me into the ambit of procurement. I have told you.
Because that's the heart of the issue.
But why should I have told you I am not responding to this? I have told you, and I continue to say that I am not speaking to the procurement issue. Because if I speak to the procurement issue, I would be granting audience to a group of people who have disrespected me, yet you want me to speak to it in the public domain. And I have cautioned you, but you continue to do it.
But you acknowledge that some wrongdoing was done. And you are saying that you are going to collaborate to ensure that wrongdoing is addressed.
Yes.
Okay. And that wrongdoing that has been done, what did you do while you were MD to address that wrongdoing, which you are seeking to collaborate to have it addressed now?
I wrote letters because the containers were not within our purview. Every single one that came to my notice, I wrote to the agency involved. And when I wrote to the agency involved, what happened? I didn't receive. So I am saying, and I'll repeat myself, that we all need to assist the minister to locate every single container. And that is going to be my mantra. I am not going to shift from it. You can choose to label whatever you want to label. You can choose to follow the committee's report. You can choose to read from what you are reading. You can choose to play the video from Honorable Afenyomakin. But let me tell you something. Containers getting missing at the port, it will be very mischievous for you to link it to the people at the top.
Why? Really?
I said, yes, because it's not part of the person's day-to-day. But even if so, you want to link it to the person at the top. It is only when, unless I sit here and have you been fully notified that when I heard about the containers being auctioned, I didn't do anything about it. I sat aloof and left it. Well, how would that have been?
Well, you wrote a letter that was not responded to.
Is that my fault?
That's not action enough.
So what do I do?
It's not effort that we're measuring.
So what should I do?
We're measuring results.
If you were me, you said it's a discussion. If you were me, what would you do?
No.
Have you also cited a document where ECG reported the matter to the police? Have you cited that?
You reported the auctioning of the containers to the police. You are just saying it.
I'm asking you, have you cited the letter? There's a letter in circulation similar to that. There's one that I have told you, my brother. You are trying to drag me into responding to this report. All attempts, and if you ask me another question that doesn't pertain to how the containers come out, I'll say you've run out of your questions. Let's have it. Let's call it a good night.
In fact, the more reason why I'm dwelling on the procurement is because that's the heart of the conversation that we're having.
Go and read the Attorney General's opinion on procurement. If you've read the Attorney General and on your Saturday show, Edwin Tamaklo exhausted that conversation.
Well, we had that conversation, and the proposal was that if there's supposed to be now a review of that position, then so be it.
Then they should go ahead. And does the law apply retrospectively? Does the law apply retrospectively? The mischief you are trying to look for, please. Let's halt and let's unify and stop trying to look for names.
You see,
let's unify and try and solve the problem.
I don't think you talking about a conversation that we are having as mischief. It will be unfair to the Ghanaian people that you were appointed
your comments, because so I served the Ghanaian people diligently.
It is not. I
would say this is a very good conversation for me because I've had a very good conversation with you, and I have been very careful. Mischief. Who told you it's not mischief? But that's your job. You are supposed to be mischievous to solicit answers from me. And it's my job to also make sure that I don't divulge information that I don't want to give out.
Of you to give answers. Now, earlier, you said those pointing fingers at the minority leader. That was what the earlier interview you heard, not here. The minority leader and the former energy minister must stop. Right?
Go for a break now.
Is it one that you still stand by?
I have given you my viewpoint. You've come to sit down with me. You have your own viewpoint. You want to drum your viewpoint on me. I am still standing where I am standing. But you still want to solicit, push your own questions, land your own questions, go forward to wherever it's your prerogative. It's your show. I have told you, I am not speaking to the procurement matter because I don't want to. Because I felt there was a better place. You played Honorable Alexander Afenyomakin's thing. You wanted to draw me into it. I gave you my overview of the matter. You are not satisfied. It's your prerogative. The conversation is that right-thinking people in Ghana read a report, created an opinion. Was that fair? When right people thinking we will read a document and there's an impression out there that the man was spoken to when the man wasn't spoken to. Is that fair? I thought that we were all talking about fairness here. So if that is not fair, then let's create an.
Some video now. When we say the former director of ECG, as a comediator explaining himself, but video when I made me boss, to me, the guy who is interviewed this former MD no is doing a bogus interview or the guy in, you know. I get to say I want a pa and why so, but I can't do. But I think it's so fair. As me a Ghana, you know, me need ECG in 7B. I could achieve. The many boss have video now. Some chama can say to me, it's not the interview, you know. It's interrogate this guy, pushing this guy, you know, frustrating him, to put fear in him. Like sometimes watching the video, I say, come on, to I think say, Safoya Kata said, it's a cartel, and a munna yard, Diana. I say, percent fasten 90% fans here from an MD, no. But I think it's so fair. Mr. Man, they are way and me know yabini. What I say, as I'm a Ghanaian and I'm a citizen and I won't be a spectator, I have to tell you. So where you Ghana national issue in na after in na ye bobo hono isu eyo wo and a light a hang a young kwa. So Mr. Man, so bogus interview now with the papa ne yano. I will tell you, say, me no ya gene, me chama bi na me de chira a bogus. What I say? Me to me, no, if this guy have done anything wrong, I'll say it, no. Now, so Mr. Man also crying, also no fear, and come be that. Nasa, the Esino, Yanti, and I say, Yama Fauna, won't catch the winning, the winning. Na TV radio, so no so program. And as I asked about those who mean Kereno. Your Excellency, I am a cow most me video, Mr. Catcher say, Ghana for Moody DA. As someone about that one, say, and Kesiaga, a Kesiaga, a Virginia also. Ghana for Moody DA. It's Mr. Yamakwama media phono, and yan. Kokwasa ense mbozo kum asamano. Then you see this man as a scapegoat. I'm sorry to tell you the truth. You got me? Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We allowed this thing to happen in the country. What I say? You better Ghana where draw. We have only one Ghana. Oh, home sweet home. But some my wife didn't probably chirana. One mammy channel. Because I didn't turn from you in Ukraine, India, do you think you can do this in Europe and America and Canada and Britain? On no come channel, come to make a distance of one. No, not by you by investor, easy, they'll find a saying, or find a content to consume. It is that the 4 million of Ghanaians, special made ones. It call for Bobosia. It can find myself for Bogana. Nay, a pan of Cobrade. Ghana, no, Niti, and it's on your Ghana. No, the who abum, a duconeu. Now, but for being back at Nabet TV, so able to do that, can't say, Wabokron, ancient call. Let me say, I'm brand lady. When your police over interrogate to be back. Okay. I'm very sad for what I saw in the TV3 one. I'm very sad. I'm sorry. Sana yes and somebody is in Kokwazi you come as someone. Obiano Boom, Infano. If I get your names. A tete more for being no canasam. Tete, why say Opino TV, dear, you change agony. It would be CBR. Oh, my channel. Saman. Interview and the to me a bogus. When you interview a book, I not have Dutch no. God, not Dutch no. Don't joke with that guy, but disgrace you. Guy, no, not you or dog. It's a learned person, not one. So you should not bring that guy and say, but didn't have grow. Oh, do the year. Oh, we make you useless. Or you're useless. Which of you don't know it's over you. Who person intimidating you? Also, own to intimidate no. On your be an hojo. What I say? And you'll be an mojo. Also, we intimidate no. You cannot intimidate this guy. And I love you, man. Bro, keep it up. And more be intimidate too. Don't let anybody to intimidate you. Okay? Can they win him? Can they win him? Man, more intimidate too. Him, who you mistaken as only buboa. What can they be no? Make our name. I'm telling you the truth. Ye proclaim that not shall come. No, you mistake. No, jam on the show. What can they be no? I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Be strong. Send a walk on the answer. Obiam fraud corners of office about my defend. Don't allow them to over you. Name fasten and shall come. We mistake. We John on confront yan as a shall. No, mom, or the main people on account no more if you have some no. Don't allow yourself to listen to in pump and shout. I love what you are doing. Keep it on. Others here. Bogus interview. Bogus. Me bra pain or canasam. Canada Japan. It's bogus. Ghana Bashia. And you have some of you medias. No, my Ghana say. Ghana consumer media for one and also more bias. As some, but don't want you are trying to customer. Ye pay as some. Krabiani who dear a woman a creating point. Me the bum pen as some lie as some for fraud. As some why? Munya Ghana for? Are you not Ghanaians? Why are you doing this to ourselves? This is Opinion TVGH. Subscribe and like it. Share and comments to us. So we can give you the feedback and give you more videos. Minya, no for do weekend, you right. Be share. Bye-bye.